So in our agency, we're privileged to work with lots of companies that whether either we work with the founder, CEO, or business owner, and in many cases, we're working with the CMO or head of marketing for a company. And in one of my conversations with one of these CMOs, we were having a conversation about how they track what we call the metrics that matter when it comes to lead generation. And so what he did was he pulled out like all of these reports. And for those that don't know, we use HubSpot and we're a big HubSpot fan, but it doesn't matter what data or analytics package you use. But I'm looking at this 50-page report and I said, so tell me what numbers matter to your decision making. And that opened up a conversation about nothing, quite honestly. He kind of went silent. In that moment, it was kind of an awkward silence. And I was like, how do you make decisions about your next move? How do you make your decision about your next play with digital? How do you make your next lead generation campaign decisions? And while the data was impressive that he was showing me, it was some 50 pages, he went silent. And it was, first of all, we're colleagues. And so I noticed the uncomfortableness of the silence. And I'm thinking, maybe you are sitting in a place where you've got all this data and you're wondering the same question. Well, I'm going to help you in this video with the way that I think I helped him with his thinking, not because I've got it all dialed in, but because I've learned one key thing about measuring what matters. You know, there's an old adage that goes, what gets measured gets improved. And I agree with that. And I unfortunately, I can't call the name of the management guru who came up with it, either Jack Welch or I can't picture the name, but I can see his face. But you can Google that and find that out. But what gets measured gets improved. Now, I lived by that principle for a long time. I learned it when I was in college in the 90s. Having said that, the more I've gotten in digital and the more we expand our growth on various platforms, on social media, and the more that we start losing privacy and pixel tracking and all of but every analytics package has more data than we need. And so what I say is not just what gets measured gets improved, but we must measure what matters so that we can improve the metrics that make the most difference. And that's what I want to talk with you about right now for just a few minutes. So for those that are new here, our podcast here is all about helping you shift your mind so you can shift your results, both in your business and your life. And for the last 14 years in our marketing agency, we've been helping companies do just that with some of our methodologies, our modalities, our frameworks, our playbooks. And we have both an agency as well as an inner circle coaching and training community. So we can cover and help businesses of all sizes. Our agency is typically for 7 and 8 figure, and anyone else can join the inner circle. Both our 7 and 8 figure people are in an inner circle as well. Having said that, we measure what matters most so we can make the changes and make the changes on what matters the most, what makes the most difference. Sometimes I get my own phrase messed up. The key phrase is, how do you know what to measure? So I'm going to walk you through what we call our left to right campaign optimization framework. And the reason why we call it that, and I know every analytics package doesn't put the metrics from left to right, but I grew up on Google Analytics in my early days. So for me, everything works left to right. Now, you can move things around if you're messing around in HubSpot, or you can move things around and make it go top to bottom. You can certainly reverse it if you're in the meta dashboard, but just stick with me here. If you think about your Google Analytics package, on the left-hand side of the package, you're going to have impressions, then you're going to have page views, then you're going to have clicks, then you're going to have visitors, then you're going to have user sessions, and so forth and so on. Over to the right, your key events or conversions are on the right-hand side of the screen. That being said, you can apply it to however the view is. But let me tell you how we think about this. And I'm going to take you to just a conversation from the other day, not just the 50-page report. But what we were talking about is that we have narrowed down the metrics that matter from what we call the bottom-up framework. The bottom-up framework, which means when we look at the bottom of the funnel, we start from the bottom of the funnel and work our way to the top. We start from the right side of the analytics package and work our way back to the left. Let me give you a real example. Just recently, we had a brand new campaign that was launched. And the campaign had about, and by the way, this was a social media campaign. ad campaign. We had about 1,000 visitors to the page. We had like a click-through rate of 2.28. Let me put a little bit more frame here. It's a business-to-business service that runs at about $20,000 a year, just to give you some metrics here on what this matters. I can't give you what the standard KPIs would be for everybody's business, but we know how we do our marketing. We know what these KPIs should be. So we've got about 1,000 visitors in the early part of this campaign. We've got a 2.28 click-through rate. We've got like a 75-cent cost per click rate. I won't get into what those numbers should be. What I will tell you is the left side of the ledger was looking good. The number of page views to click-through rates, from click-through rates to the cost per click, from the cost per click to the CPM, all of those metrics, right? But when we think about the metrics that matter, is what matters to the person who makes the money. What matters to the CEO? What matters to the head of sales? What matters to the people who are wondering, when are we making the sale? So whether that's bottom up or whether it's right to left, we are always starting with our optimization and are looking at the numbers there. So now let's jump to the right side of that particular campaign. What we knew about this campaign and what we know about this type of campaign is we should have had a 2%-ish conversion rate on this specific type of offer. By the way, this is way deep down in the funnel. So you might be thinking, well, 2%, that's awfully low. Well, this is a way deep part of the funnel, okay? We were coming in at 1.6. So when we go to the left side of the equation, we're looking at the cost per click, we're looking at the click-through rate, we're looking at the CPM, which is really good. We're looking at all of these other metrics, right? There's videos in the campaign, so it looks like people are engaging with the videos. We have metrics that track what does it cost us to get a 25% view? What does it cost us to get a full view? These videos, by the way, are 1 to 2 minutes long, so these aren't like 16-second little reel videos. These are deep education videos. So all of these left to right metrics look great except this one. So when we enter our account strategy meetings, we go straight to where the problem lives, right? So in all of this conversation, do you know what metrics matter? Or are you merely measuring the thing that looks good? Okay, so when we're working with CEOs and founders, we're going to where the money happens. Like, most marketers misunderstand this. Like, your 50 pages don't do anything for the CEO. Your 50 pages aren't impressive. Your 50 pages, and what do they tell you? Do they tell you what to do next? We go over to the right side, on the right side of the campaign ledger, or from the bottom up side, and we start saying, oh, this conversion rate for this type of campaign, for this type of business model, because we've got a history of 14 years running professional service campaigns in this particular, not exact niche, but business service campaigns run similarly, we know that that number should be 2%. Now, from 2 to 1.6, you might think, that's not that far, Darrell, that's not that far. But in fact, that's almost 25% lower than what it should be, a metric that matters. Like, can we afford to be 25% off when it comes to the landing page experience, and it's not 0.4% off, which is a mistake that a lot of analysts do, is they say, it's 0.4%. It's not that bad. No, 0.4 from 2, right? That's almost a quarter, right? So we have to look at that. So that led us to, well, we must have some type of challenge at the landing page. Then we worked our way back up and we started noticing between the number of link clicks to the number of landing page views that number had a discrepancy that was a bit off in our level of tolerance. Obviously, every page won't load at the same time, but this number was completely off, which indicated that we might have had a page speed problem. And let's be clear, if we're working with cold traffic and they click on our ad and we spent all this time on content creation and video editing and all of this creative, and for some reason the page isn't loading fast, you will not convert leads. So a metric that mattered is not so much the click-through rate and the cost per click and the CPM. What was happening deeper in the funnel? So 1.6 should have been 2. Why is it not 2? Oh, let's go back up a little bit closer in the package and say, how many people are actually seeing the page or waiting until the page loads? and we discovered a problem. In fact, we discovered that it was an approximate 30% of people weren't even seeing the page load, meaning they would click on the ad and only 70% were actually seeing the page or getting what was registered as a landing page view. That let us know to look at the landing page, the development, the code, and look at the design of the page. And let me be clear, the page was beautiful. The page was amazing. The problem was it might have been too amazing. It might have been too so graphically beautiful that it was just too heavy for this type of conversion process. We're not here to solve the conversion problem. We talk about the things that we can do, but this episode, this topic, for many of you, there's more data than you can ever know what to do with. And it really is important. If you're a marketer, if you're the CEO or founder, like so many times I'm in meetings and we're in strategy calls where the people aren't knowing where what we call the little hinge that will swing big doors lies. And a lot of that is not your fault. You've got HubSpot, you've got ConvertKit, you've got, Shopify, you've got your Google Analytics package, you've got your Google Tag Manager, you've got all of these different packages. Everybody's got a set of data, but you've got to know how to filter it and how to organize it. Now, I'm going to put right below this video a download that's available with all of the key metrics that we monitor in the majority of our campaigns. And I'm going to put together this guide. It's going to be inside of our Inner Circle community. So if you'd like to join the community, you can come in and join the free community and get this guide. And it's going to help with you understanding, if you're the CEO, founder, or owner, and you're trying to understand all the numbers, how do you simplify the numbers to the ones that matter? And by the way, these aren't just the numbers of sales. Like we're trying to say, let's go up and figure out where leads are happening and where conversion is happening and quality is happening, right? Or if you're on your own and you're a marketer and you're really just inundated with 1,000 things you've got to go over, how do you know how to measure the metrics that matter so you can make the changes that'll make the most difference and impact in your campaigns? That, my friend, is where a lot of the leverage comes in digital. It isn't in just split testing more copy. It's not split testing the colors on your pages. It's not adding 18 more headlines. It's not building 14 more lead magnets. It's not writing 14 more ads. It's not doing 42 more videos. It's going over to where the metrics matter the most and work your way back up. And I'm happy to share with you one of our KPI documents that we have in our agency that helps give us this guidance. Again, we don't get it always right, but when we go into investigator mode, when a campaign is not working, it is extremely helpful for our team, our younger marketers, our senior marketers, because listen, at the end of the day, we're all inundated with more metrics and more data than we'd probably care to. But that's the world of digital that we're in. So listen, 2 things you can do. If you've hung around this long, we'd love to invite you into the Mindshift community, or if you're really interested, check out the Inner Circle, which is the link below. You'll be able to get this downloadable document from our community page, as well as if you're a 7 or 8 figure entrepreneur, founder, CEO, and you are struggling with people handing you 50 page documents, not throwing shade on my friend, but if you're getting documents of data and you have no idea what in the world it means and what in the world it means to what you're going to do next to improve your next level of growth, feel free to click on the link down below this particular episode and you can book yourself in on a call with our agency and have a conversation so we can help you diagnose, help you assess, and figure out the metrics that could make the biggest difference. One of the things we do in those strategy calls is we're not in there for high pitch selling. We're there to help you get, if it's nothing more than one piece of clarity on one of the problems that you have. And most of the time, it's just having you shift your mind so you can shift your results. With that being said, hit the like, hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button so you never miss another episode, and I'll see you again next week. Peace.